Okay, so I'll start introducing myself. I'm Gaston. I'm a Mesos committer. I've been working on Mesos, Marathon, and Chronos and stuff like that for a little bit over 3 years now. I've been mostly developing stuff. So even though we operate here a few testing clusters and help customers, we don't have huge production clusters in Mesosphere, so that's why I'm interested in talking to you all and finding out more about what you do, what works great, what doesn't work that great, what we should be doing, and stuff like that. Yeah, that's basically me. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm James Beach. I'm a Mesos committer. I work at Apple, and we have several large Mesos clusters that we've been running for a few years now.
Hi, I'm Benno. I'm software engineer at Mesosphere for a little under a year. And yeah, I develop on Mesos. And yeah, nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Abel. I'm a PhD student in Sweden. We are working with, recently we started working with Mesos in order to increase cluster utilization in HPC data centers.
I think we have someone else in the call, but H-Toast, but might be shy. I don't know. No need to speak. Okay, so I just said what my idea for the working group is, but we can define what we want to do. I basically think that we don't currently have a space where we can discuss things like logging metrics, packages, reconfiguration policy, and stuff like that. So I thought it would be nice to meet every few weeks and have the chance to share with others and discuss what's going on. So that's basically my goal for this working group. If you have any other ideas, things that you think should be added to the agenda, then I'm open to any feedback. Okay, I guess everyone is on the same page then. So someone added here, well, I added here roadmap, and then a few things were added below there. Basically, I've been working a lot on scale tests lately and creating and destroying large. They're not large for Apple, for instance, but like 80 node clusters with quite some frameworks, like around 500 or 600 frameworks. And we noticed that some things make it hard to. So there are not many tools that make it easy to debug what's going on the cluster. Like if a framework is not able to start many tasks, we didn't know why. We didn't have any framework metrics, and if the framework doesn't log the offers, Mesos wouldn't log them either. So it was hard to find out what was going on. So I wanted to talk about a few things that we are introducing or have introduced recently to help with that. One is the per framework metrics. I talked about them in the last Mesos developer meeting. There's a chain right now from Greg Mann, and the idea is to add metrics like for each framework that's registered with the master, and we're adding frameworks like framework metrics showing whether the framework is subscribed or not, suppressed or not, how many operations it did, and like breakdown by operation type, how many offers it got, how many offers were declined, and stuff like that. So we will be adding, like, I think it's about 20 or probably a bit more metrics per framework. The chain is mostly done. He also has some benchmarks that show that I think it was even acceptable for people that have a lot of frameworks, like James Beach. So that's one of the things that we did to find out what's going on, why frameworks are able or not able to start things. The other thing that we found out is that there was no way of knowing what was being offered to frameworks. Unless they log the offers that they receive themselves, their Mesos wouldn't log them. and we were testing with different frameworks, not all of them in our control. So it was really hard to get that information. That's why I added some extra logging statements in master CVP. So now, if you enable them, the master will log something saying sending offer, and then the offer ID, and all the resources that are part of that offer. That can be quite verbose. So in order to enable that, you have to turn on glogv2 logging for master CVP, and that can easily be done by an environment variable. So we haven't documented this in any prominent place yet. I might have to add it somewhere, but it's something that might be useful for you in the future, so you might want to know that. Yeah, basically that's the overview I wanted to give about metrics and logging. The metrics are not right now exported in a key value format, like a map. So we just added them to the metrics snapshot endpoint that Mesos master exposes. There's a project called Mesos Exporter that translates that into something that Prometheus can scrape. And we've been using that for our monitoring. But it's not very actively maintained, so I think that probably needs an owner. It could be something we could discuss here, whether someone wants to own that or who would own that. And I have never used the other tools mentioned here, Mesos and Graphite, so I don't know what the current support is and where we have anything in Mesos, like any related to Mesos. Yeah. Is there anything any of you want to mention about Prometheus, metrics, or anything like that? I know that James is now working with Prometheus. He was.
Yeah, I'm happy to ramble a little bit about that. So we're in the very early days of getting Prometheus plumbed through our infrastructure. I'm pretty excited about the framework metrics. Unfortunately, I'm being told not to collect them for frameworks because we're concerned about the high cardinality, because we run so many frameworks and we have frameworks with very short lifetimes. So although I'm excited about having the metrics, in practice, I don't think I'm going to be able to actually collect them, which I feel is a little bit awkward. But it's probably something we'll explore. But not immediately. We're using the Mesos exporter again, probably in the early days of trying to understand which metrics that it's pushing out are the ones that we want, and which ones we want to just drop on the floor. We have other sort of metrics collection things, so a fair bit of overlap. There's some overlap between what we do already and what Mesos Exporter is going to give us. With my putting more with my Mesos hat on, I think it'd be interesting for Mesos, for the owners of the Mesos Exporter project and the Mesos community to try and integrate a little bit more closely. Maybe we could talk about concurrent releases and trying to bring Mesos Exporter maybe more in, and Mesos more into the same community and same ecosystem. I don't have very concrete thoughts about that, but I think that Mesos, giving the community a lot more guidance, a lot more confidence in Mesos as a stack is probably a helpful direction.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think right now we don't have a clear owner of Mesos Exporter. It was started by people who have left Mesosphere, and yeah, it's still something that, well, no one has volunteered, I guess, so far to maintain that. I'm guessing we could try to make a decision as make it part of the official Mesos tools or something like that. Right now, I think we don't have any other official repository, right? Like Mesos repository.
It's in the Mesosphere. It's in the Mesosphere org now. So I guess I don't see any problem from the Mesos side. I don't see any problem moving it to the Mesos org, or even kind of adopting it as officially part of the Apache Mesos project if the owners or the contributors of Mesos Exporter would be interested in doing that.
Yeah, I'm guessing, I haven't checked with anything, but I'm guessing that we could probably donate that repository to the Mesos project. It depends on whether someone wants to take over it, own it, basically.
I know G has so in the past, I know G has mentioned. Okay, let me back up a bit. I once had a patch series to export Prometheus metrics natively from Mesos. It worked, but it had a number of issues, and one of the issues was you don't really have enough information inside Mesos to apply the right kinds of labels that you might want. So Mesos Exporter doesn't just export metrics; it also looks at other endpoints to try and decorate the time series with the correct labels, so you get a richer set of metrics. So I know G has suggested trying to do all that within Mesos itself. I'm not so that would, I think the net effect of G's suggestion, it would be roughly bringing the functionality of Mesos Exporter into Mesos itself. So that's one approach. I guess the other approach is just to sort of try and adopt what I've suggested before is just trying to adopt Mesos Exporter into the community more and kind of integrate it more tightly as a deployment option.
Yeah, so I noticed that Explorer, for instance, pulls the state endpoints and stuff like that. In some cases, that could be good. In some other cases, because the state endpoint is pretty slow, we have to disable that integration, basically. So
I haven't noticed that, but I haven't noticed it. I haven't read the code to see it polling the state endpoint, but yeah, that would be bad for us if it does.
Yeah, it does that. So I think Philip, he's working here at Metrics. He has a patch. I think he sent a pull request to disable that, so he can toggle that integration.
Yeah, I haven't deployed it in any of our large clusters yet, so I'm still in the experimental phase. But that's good to know.
That's a heads up. Like it pulls on both the agents and the master, the state endpoint, whenever it gets straight from Prometheus. Yeah, I can see where I find that pull request later, where it has been merged, and then send it to you. So maybe something we could do is send an email to the users and dev mailing list and ask whether people think it would make sense to move Mesos Exporter to the Mesos repository or make it part of the official Mesos distributions, and then whether someone wants to work on that and own it. I think with some love, he could develop quite a bit. Right now, it's only getting patches whenever someone thinks someone who knows Go or is willing to write something in Golang.
Yeah, it'd be great to have it to be, automatic, to get enough interest in it that people will that the Mesos community will kind of just always update it when new metrics come through, and just keep it current. Make sure that Mesos and the exporter stay in relative sync.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I will do it as an action item. I will send an email and then ask about that. Yeah. So I know who are the next item in the agenda, or does anyone have anything else to add about metrics? Okay.
Is anyone else using the Mesos exporter in production?
No, I actually didn't. I didn't know about it before.
Yeah, same for me. It's the first time I hear about it.
That's good, and we're making this project a bit more known. Hopefully someone will want to own it as well. Okay, so I don't know whether the next item would be supporting info automation. Whoever added this is, are you here in the meeting? I'm guessing it's about maintaining Chef and Ansible cookbooks to install Mesos. Given the links, but that's all I know. Also, yeah, I haven't played with any of these since before joining Mesosphere, so I don't have much to add there. Okay, then if no one is interested in talking about this, I guess we can skip it for today.
I guess for us, we deploy everything with Puppet. We don't use any of these external Puppet modules. We just have our own stuff. Our stuff isn't really general enough to be publishable or open sourceable, though. It's pretty specific to, our overall Puppet infrastructure.
Okay, and do you rely on the packages that are part of the Mesos releases, or build your own? I don't know. Is there anything that you think we could improve in the release process or something like that?
So let me give you a quick overview of what we do. We build our own RPMs. We try to minimize the number of patches we carry, but we do carry some patches.
Mm-hmm.
We release off Mesos master, and we don't track releases at all. So we pretty much at arbitrary times we will attempt to release arbitrary versions of Mesos.
Okay. Yeah, we maintain the DCOS, and DCOS we try to ship it without any patches, but we have a few cherry picks that we do, mostly for the UI, changing endpoints in the UI and stuff like that. Those patches are open source, so if you go to DCOS to repo, you can see. Endpoint here. So there's a list of patches here. So for DCOS master now, we only have four patches, and we try to keep it as small as possible. And those are cherry picked on top of whatever is on a given Mesos, Apache Mesos branch. In some cases, so we maintain other versions of DCOS for customers as well. So, for instance, we keep backporting stuff to Mesos 1.2, which is no longer officially maintained. But normally we try to stay as close as possible to master and to make any other patches available like this. And I'm not sure whether everyone knows how we bundle Mesos in DCOS. We basically, when you install DCOS, everything is installed under a directory, OBD DCOS or OBD Mesosphere or something. And we build methods with all the dependencies and just copy everything there. It's not statically linked, but we install all the dependencies and everything there. And that's how we deploy it. There are no Chef or Puppet or any other kind of automation like that. It's basically you get a large binary and then install it on your nodes and muscles. So yeah, I think that's why Mesosphere is not involved in the development of any of these projects linked here. Yeah, I know that we have some official packages that I've never used them. Well, I used them when I was first experimenting with Mesos like 3 years ago. They work, like being able to install Mesos using Debian packages. But I don't know if they're outdated now or whether they need more love. So I was hoping I could hear more from other people. I don't know whether anyone has any experience with them, with the official RPMs or Debian packages. Yeah, I'm guessing that no. So how do you install Mesos normally?
So we, like I said, so we build our own RPMs, and we just install RPMs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was wondering whether Abel, for instance, had anything to add, Abel, or anyone else. Otherwise, we can move to the next topic. I mean, we cannot move to the next topic because Shidao isn't here. So. Yeah, I know. Does anyone else has anything to add? Some wishes, some things we could improve there? Cool. I'm taking it as a signal that we're doing everything great. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the end of the agenda. I don't know. Does anyone else want to add anything? Discuss anything? What were your...
Is there any time plan for having such integrations into Mesos?
What kind of integrations? Sorry?
Time frame. Like, is there a time frame to have, like, for example, per framework metrics integrated into Mesos?
Yeah, so ideally we could land that chain this week or next week. It's in review work right now, so I'm basically kind of blocking that, Melmar, so I have to finish reviewing Greg's patches. You can see there are quite a few here. Many of them already have shibits,
okay,
things that he addressed, so it should be anytime soon. So I'm pretty sure it will be part of Mesos 1.7 of the next release.
Okay.
We will backward them for the COS because we think they are useful to troubleshoot what's going on with customers and other users. But right now we don't plan to backward them to to officially backward them to other Mesos versions because it could be seen as a new feature and it will add quite some new metrics to the endpoint. So we're going to try to be careful there. Unless people would like this to be officially backwarded, then we could do that. I mean, we're going to work on the patches anyway. So yeah, that depends on the interest from the community. Our plan is not to land it on the official 1.6, 1.5, 1.4 branches because we know that some people might not be happy with that, but we're doing the work anyway internally.
Yeah, I think it's very important because the way I have been doing before was by hand, so I had to write kind of some API for each application that we are running here in our cluster in order to collect per framework performance metrics and relate this to the infrastructure metrics. Cool. So that would be very important to have and facilitate our work here.
Yeah, if you want, we could also use your feedback. Like if you think that we're missing any metrics or anything like that, this is a good point to influence that. This chain is working now. We use it in our tests. You can just apply it and compile Mesos, and then there's the metrics snapshot endpoint, so it's a master endpoint, and you could see all the new metrics. So yeah, I have to see where this chain starts because it's a long chain, but I can add that later to this document. And if you want to, you can take a look.
Yeah, sure.
The expectation is that it will be committed hopefully by the end of this week or maybe some point next week. Yeah. Cool. No hard date defined, but should be around that time.
Yeah,
it's been for a while already, so yeah, we're confident that we can probably land it soon. And the login changes that I mentioned have already landed. They're already part of they're already in master. I can show how to enable that. It's you can do that through an environment variable. That's not super straightforward. So it's part of my commit message here. If you add this to your environment before starting the message master, then it will turn on glogb login just for master CPP. And these new statements that I added are almost the only ones that or I think the only ones that log at that level, besides some warnings that are very rare. So it shouldn't add any extra noise to your logs. So this is a nice trick. You can use this. We didn't know this until recently. It's a glog feature that lets you tune the login level for each module. That would be each source file. In this case, I added the login statements to master CPP, so that's why I just enabled that for master. I just turn up the login level to 2.
So Gaston, that sounds like it's probably worth putting some text in the Mesos documentation about it.
Yeah, do you have any suggestions, like in which section that would be easy to find?
Yeah, there's probably a page. We can chat offline about maybe which page we can put it, but yeah, putting it somewhere in the docs will make it a lot easier for operators to find this feature.
Yeah, I agree. So I will work on that. I will find a nice place to add this. This is just an example, a useful one, because you get useful logs, but knowing about this glog feature could be really useful for other people as well. So yeah, if you look at the batch, we're basically logging, sending offer, and then the offer ID, what the offer contains, for which agent, and to which framework. And then we also, so this is at vlog2, and then at info level, we log just the IDs of the offers, because right now we were logging them when a framework was declining an offer or when it was expiring, I think, as well, but not when it was sent. So there was no way of easily relating how long it took for a framework to decline an offer and stuff like that. So for consistency, we added this here as well. For inverse offers, we only log the IDs and not what they contain. I'm not sure whether anyone uses them yet, so we didn't want to spam the logs that much. Could be added later. It would be just a matter of copying this and changing it a little bit.
So this information is probably also available through the event stream, right?
I know where it logs, whether we send every offer that is sent by Mesos. To be honest, I'm not sure there. I could check that.
I'm checking now.
Okay.
I have a little tool. So I have a little tool which just tails the event stream, which is useful.
Oh, nice. That's useful. I mean, if you could share that, I think it would be useful for other people as well. I know it's not easy, but.
So I think ultimately what I would like to do is persistently log the event stream to a some structured format. We use Splunk a lot internally, so being able to query the event stream for, tracing things that happened in the cluster, I think is something that I would like to get to.
Okay, that sounds cool. Yeah, sounds like something I would definitely take a look at and probably use. yeah, in that case, if this is part of the stream, then there could be some duplication. I think it's still pretty safe because of the login level. Probably no one will see that unless they explicitly turn it up. And you don't need any extra tooling to start analyzing that. What I saw was that we have some similar login lines in the allocator, but the allocator only logs, it's also a bit up to you, and there's more noise at that level, and it also doesn't log exactly what is offered, it logs what's allocated to a framework. In most cases, it's pretty similar, but you don't have the IDs and that stuff, the agent ID, or probably, you might have the agent ID, but you for sure don't have the offer ID, because at that moment, the offer doesn't exist yet. Okay. So that's pretty much everything I have to share today. I'm interested in learning more from you. So if you have anything else you want to tell us or anything you want to add to the agenda for the next meeting, I'm all ears.
Thanks for hosting, Gaston.
Well, thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you, and have a nice evening or morning.
Thank you all.
All right.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.